had written down. So.
All
I didn't have to write it down.
All right. Welcome back to the Block Notes.
Welcome back.
All right. So
Here for some more, huh?
Here for some more. Well, we just did the version 2 of what?
Part 2 of what
Part
problems.
2,
did
what
cryptos?
problems? You got more questions. I couldn't
Yeah.
answer in all that time.
Well, these 2 questions I have are questions that are sort of off topic, and I didn't want to take too much time away from getting into the different coins and tokens.
Because I'll go on a rant.
Yeah, and I'll listen to it.
That's right. That's right. All right, we're gonna need.
So I was just wondering. You mentioned that email recognizing email and spam. It was the first version of proof of work, and I just wanted to I don't understand how that's proof of work, so I just wanted to ask about that.
Cool. Yeah. So the whole concept of proof of work was all right, if you're a regular user sending email, right, using your computer, period, requires energy. And especially back then, laptops weren't really a thing, right? So all computers were plugged into a wall. Okay. And anything you do on your computer requires energy. That's why you have to plug it in the first place, right? You can't use the energy with zero battery.
Right.
Or without being plugged into a power source. So everything you do, that's the first, just fundamentally you have to understand.
Right.
And so when you send an email, right, what they figured is, how do we reduce spam? Well, it's about game theory. I need to reduce the incentive for spam. Why do people spam? There's always a profit motive. They want to exploit, or maybe they're not exploiting. Maybe I'm just some store or business and I just want to hit you with ads because I feel like if you just see my name enough, you'll buy the product, right? So how do I make it, using game theory, how do I disincentivize you from doing this?
Right.
And so the idea was, well, look, we can require, if I'm an email platform, what I can do is every time you hit send on an email, like per recipient or per however you do it, every time I send an email, then I will boost how much energy it takes, right? So maybe I add, I'm not an energy expert, so if these numbers are out of whack, don't hold me, too responsible. I'll add every email you send, I'll add 2 kilowatts of energy. Whenever you hit send on an email, it's going to purge an extra 2 kilowatts from your power source, right?
And at that time, it would be the cord plugged in.
With the cord plugged in, but even on a laptop, right? Because most people, if you're going to do spam, you have a cord plugged in because you're doing you're spending millions of emails.
Yeah.
So the theory of that is, for a single user, right, it's not going to, you won't notice. You won't see it in your electric bill. If you pay $60 a month for electricity or $40 a month for electricity, and you send the average amount of emails that an average person would send, right, you'll notice zero difference. But spamming doesn't work by sending average amounts of emails. You have to send out hundreds of thousands or millions of emails, and they will notice this increased charge. Their bill that went from $40 to $50 might now be like $90 or $100 or more, right?
Okay.
The more spam they send, the more they have to pay. So the game theory behind that is, we make it more expensive for them to spam than they can earn from the spam campaign. If I'm going to earn $20,000 in a month from spamming people, but it costs me $20,001 to send the spam, well, I'm negative $1 in. Why would I do it? Right? That's why proof of work. Proof of, the proof of work concept, prove that energy is being spent to send this email. And for every email they send, they get that little purge.
I didn't know that.
And that's sort of the concept, and that's why.
Does that still happen right now?
With email, I don't think they have more advanced algorithms and stuff to reduce spam that they don't need to do that I'm aware of. I'm not a SMT or email specialist, so maybe they still do some.
Not? I'll take that off your resume.
Oh, right.
The next question I had, why, this is probably, I think I might have asked this already, but why would you run a non-staking node? Wouldn't you wouldn't you want to have the node to look at to validate for yourself, but then also stake it so that you can get rewards?
But it depends on how you view staking, right? And it depends on the system. So some systems, there is no, with Ethereum, right, as a proof of stake node, to be a staker yourself, you need 32 ETH.
Right.
Well, what if you only have 0.32 ETH?
Right, that's when you would join a staking pool.
Yeah, but that's not running a node. You don't need to run a node to join a staking pool, so you have no idea. You're still trusting in somebody else. All you need is the ETH.
Okay, hold on, let me make sure I'm following this. So since you're putting your ETH into a pool, that's not the same as running a node. So then you would run a node that is not staking because you don't have the 32 ETH.
Right. So if you have 32 ETH, if you're going to be, remember, a key component to the original idea, and that some of us hold true to, permissionless, censorship resistant, don't trust, verify, right? I don't need a third party. If I'm going to hold to those aspects, I need to have a copy of the blockchain.
Right.
I need to see as far back as I feel, and you have like different versions. This is true with Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? You got pruned nodes. So like with Ethereum, you can run a full, they call it an archival node, which means it's traditional to what people think the Bitcoin blockchain is. Okay. When you run a node, I see the very first block Ethereum ever ran, and I see every single transaction, every smart contract interaction. I download all of that. But that's really expensive.
Right.
And depending on, for most users' internet connection speed, they'll never be able to download the full chain because it's growing faster than you could download the history. It's like a terabyte or something. It's like 1 to 2 terabytes right now.
Chasing the download the whole time.
Right. So you'll never catch up.
Okay.
Unless you have this super high bandwidth that can download super fast. Just think of like streaming movies, right?
Yeah.
So you can have a prune node. Maybe you have a node that just does the headers or does certain confirmations. Or maybe you, like now, one of the scaling solutions for like Ethereum, and it's a proposal like for Bitcoin eventually, which is, all right, how much of the history for, let's take Bitcoin, right? Right now, if you run a node, you're downloading the block Satoshi first mined all the way to today. Now, it's a much smaller chain, so you can catch up. It's only like 400 gigs. It's like 1/4 the size of Ethereum's blockchain. Right. How long do I still need to download Satoshi's block, right? Before it's like, all right, we've been doing this now for 13, 14 years. At 75 years, you're telling me I still can't trust something that happened 50 years ago?
Yeah.
I still need to download Satoshi's block? Or can I start at year 15?
Yeah.
Right? And say, look, year 15 is so much, right? How much of the blockchain? Eventually, you're going to have to truncate, or it's going to always grow. And in one day in the future, if you think this is, no matter what blockchain system you're using, right? At one point, it's going to be so massive, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right? So you prune it. So like with Ethereum, you could run, most people don't run a full node. They run a node that's like, there's these checkpoints. And it's like, all right, all I need is this, or all I need is the headers of the blocks that has the hash. I don't need all the transactions, because literally every time, if you're running a full node, especially on Ethereum, you're not just validating every transaction. Like I sent this person ETH and you sent that person ETH. Every time something happens on Uniswap, every single one of those, you got to track. Every time an NFT is bought or sold, you got to track. Every time lending happens, you got to track. All of it across every decentralized application, across the entire Ethereum spectrum.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really, really hard to run a full node. But that's the power of running a node. But you might want to do that even if you're not staking. Right? And if you can't stake, if you can stake the 32 ETH and you're going to do it yourself, that's just part of staking. You have to run, because now you're a validator.
Yeah.
You have to validate every transaction. You have to run a full node if you're going to be the validator. But if you just want to stake because you don't have the 32 ETH, or you have the 32 ETH, but you don't want to go through the headache of running all of these full node services, which is a hefty requirement financially and technologically, then you can just take your ETH and give it to somebody else who will run it and let them stake on your behalf.
But you still want to be able to see the transactions. So that's
then you would run a truncated node so you can still verify your own transactions while somebody else is dealing with the financial piece for you.
Got it.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that varies from chain to chain. Again, there is no universal proof of stake, just like while people talk about it like there is no universal proof of work. Mm-hmm. One of the things every proof of work chain changes is how that proof of work works.
Okay. I just thought of another question.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to look at Cosmos, other coins that's in that ecosystem,
mm-hmm.
how do I find them? Do I go onto the CoinGecko or the and they'll be listed there, or?
Yes, but you might not see that. So what you can do is go to a website called mapofzones.com if you want to pull this up real quick, which is pretty cool.
Mapofzones.com?
Yep.
Okay.
So each what do you call it? Each Cosmos SDK blockchain is called a zone, right?
So like
if you're tied into the network, you're called a zone.
It's not sharing.
Oh, hold on, we're not sharing. Let me see if I can fix that, and if not, some technical difficulty. Well, better on the block notes than anything else. I must have quit it on accident.
That's what we get for trying to be fancy.
Yeah.
Can't have nothing nice here, guys.
Yeah. That's all right. Boom. All right, I should be ready now. So we'll share.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. All right, so here we go. Map of zones.
Oh, there we are.
So right now there's 59 zones inside of the Cosmos ecosystem, right? Mm-hmm. And this will tell you here, every single one of these is a chain in the Cosmos, and it's listed over here.
So you just went to mapofzones.com, and then that's what popped up there.
That's what pops up here.
Is this map of zones for Cosmos?
This is all the Cosmos SDK chains that are tied together using the IBC, that bridging protocol, not the security piece. Mm-hmm. So you won't see Binance on here because while they use Cosmos SDK, they're not tied to the network.
Okay.
And there's going to be several chains that use Cosmos SDK. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you can Google that to figure out which ones are those. But these are the ones that are actively tied together. And then you can look at like their volume, their total transactions, how many transfers between chains they have.
And each of those are allegedly fixing a problem, or?
Well, that would be the idea, right? So you have secret, right? So I'm just pointed at this one here, but that's this here. So it shows you. So secret network is basically smart contract. Think of how do I do Ethereum privately? Think of Monero or Zcash, but for Ethereum. So that's what secret network, that's the problem they're trying to solve, right? Then as I click on it, you'll see all the chains it's tied to. Because just because you're in doesn't mean you're tied to every chain in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Maybe you're only tied to a few. Again, you have Cosmos Hub. Now, if Cosmos Hub was really the hub, it would be here in the center.
Yeah. Well, what is in the center?
Nothing. Because there is no centralizing force.
Oh, plot twist.
So yeah, but you can click on every single one.
So can you click on Atom?
Yep. Let's select Atom.
And so, wait, that's everything it's tied to?
Yep. Hold on, I was trying to see if I could make it bigger. But yeah, this is all of them that it's tied to. So yeah, Cosmos Hub and all the ones in the ecosystem that it's tied to.
Very interesting.
And you can see, because Cosmos doesn't do anything, right? So you got up here the key. What's the difference between the purple and the blue?
Yeah.
Purple is mainly sends money. Blue is mainly receives money.
Mm-hmm. And so what color?
So it's sending information out, but it's not receiving anything because, like I said, what's it storing? It's not It's not securing really anything.
So what if it did both? Would it be like half and half?
Well, no. If it's exactly 50-50, I don't know what they would do. We'd have to talk to Mapper Zones. Like, how do you deal with that if it's equally doing both?
Yeah.
So, yep. That's everything. Osmos, like I said, right now is the most central force in, I think, the Cosmos ecosystem now. Before, it was Terra. Because Terra was taken over. Like, DAI was getting ready to add Terra, and Ethereum, everybody was getting ready to add Terra to their system. And then it collapsed. You had Gravity Bridge. So on, I can't remember which episode, but we had Deborah from Althea on. So Althea is going to be a network soon popping up in here. And Gravity Bridge is what they use to, if you're going to do the internet thing, remember? And Gravity Bridge is one way you can port some of that internet, the paying for your internet services through from Ethereum to the Cosmos ecosystem. Gravity Bridge is how you tie anything in Ethereum or EVM compatible over to the Cosmos ecosystem so they can talk to each other. Cosmos talks to each other natively if you turn it on, but it doesn't natively talk to an outside source. You use something like Gravity Bridge to do that.
Very interesting. So you knew about Gravity Bridge before?
Well, yeah, but it's because I know about a lot of the stuff. I don't know about everything. So you're going to catch me sometimes and I don't know anything about it. But I think a lot of things you'll name, unless you go deep diving into the market cap, like deep low cap coins. I'm like, I can't follow 25,000 different projects.
Right.
Maybe 15 to 20.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of different things. But everything in the Cosmos One, all of these, so I'll run through the ones I know. Like Osmosis is basically lending. It's a decentralized exchange. Or not lending, but trading. Where you have Secret. I know Secret. Secret is smart contracts, but secretly. You have Kronos, which is Crypto.com's version, which is a centralized exchange in their decentralized side, similar to Binance and Binance Smart Chain. You have Juno, which is smart contracts, because just because you have a Cosmos SDK, right, you start, that doesn't mean you have smart contracts. It just means you have a base layer. Cosmos, one of the reasons you don't see things built on the Atom chain, it's not a smart contract platform. Right?
Yeah.
So you can't build on that. But then you have, and this is one of the, had it worked, this would have been one of the benefits of Luna, which was, it was a stable coin. And so if you wanted to build DeFi, you could use that stable coin at its base layer and you're building on top of the stable coin, not trying to pipe in a stable coin. Does that make sense? So if you want to do lending, you do it on the Terra blockchain and build lending there because it has the stable coin.
And so now that it failed, now what do they do?
Well, here's the thing. They've relaunched, and I could see the idea of wanting to build on Terra if it was the stable coin, because that was the whole purpose of the Luna coin was to sort of back the Terra stable coin. Now, they're like, no, now it's just like any other project. It's like, no, we're going to do Luna, but not the stablecoin piece. And now it really doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But I haven't really looked into their even game plan.
Yeah.
So, but it made sense when they were the stablecoin. If you thought an algorithmic stablecoin was going to work, at least there was a line of logic to follow why you would build on it. Now I don't know why you would. And a lot of projects that were building on it left and built their own chain, right? So yeah, there's Terra still living the world.
Along.
The new version, that's 2.0 version. Sentinel is like a VPN on chain. So if you want to use a VPN, but a decentralized VPN, again, I'm not saying it works, Just
Yeah.
saying that's what they do.
Yeah.
Chihuahua. Guess what Chihuahua does?
I don't know. Maybe holds the records of your Chihuahua if it's purebred.
You know what a Chihuahua is?
It barks loudly.
It's a dog, right?
Yeah.
What do all the other dog coins do?
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I was having like too much logical thought.
That's right. It's not that difficult. You have a couple on here that like BitSong, they're trying to solve like music. Like the Spotify thing. Band is the version of Chainlink on Cosmos. So it's like the Oracle. So, yeah.
Very interesting. More to look into.
Yep, it's its own little ecosystem. But mapofzones.com if you want to sort of figure out what Cosmos things do, whatever.
Yep. I like it. I did not know about that website prior to this.
Well, it's because you didn't know much about Cosmos prior to this.
Yeah, clearly.
All right, so that's it for the block notes. And go check us out on Twitter. Tell us more things you want us to talk about if we do another version 3 of this.
Yes.
What cryptos are useful or not.
Yes.
All right. Peace.
Peace.